Hello, my name is Dennis Eddy, and together with my colleagues Shelley Sheepskin and Taylor Blanchard, we will be spending the next 30 minutes or so presenting on an organization called Station 20. Station 20 is a building of different community development organizations located on 20th Street in a downtown core neighborhood called Riversdale, not Riverdale. Before we get any further, I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. Wherever you are when you watch this, and for whatever reason you decide to, thank you. We value your time and attention. We aim to be worthy of that time commitment, and frankly, Station 20 is an organization worth learning about, and we are privileged to be able to teach you about this group. Let's get started. Okay, so over the course of this presentation, we will discuss the mission and vision of Station 20, the background of it, the history, some of the milestone successes and challenges of the build of the organization, the communities it's serving, and the co-locators that are serving them within Station 20. We'll explain that a little bit further in the presentation. We're also going to discuss the social enterprise model and the entrepreneurial ecosystem that this falls into. And then we're going to tie it into the SHIM framework before wrapping it up. Okay, let's get going. So the vision of Station 20 is to make a significant contribution to social and economic equality in the core neighborhoods of Saskatoon. It does this by providing space that facilitates the provision of service and amenities to improve the well-being of individuals and families in the core neighborhoods in the core communities of Saskatoon. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's a collaborative work and a meeting space in Saskatoon's West Side neighborhoods. To take a look at that vision statement, I think it should be clear and concise. And we think that it does a good job of communicating what Station 20 is about and what they're trying to accomplish. What stands out are the following points: the clear tie to the specific community it serves, the fact that people come there to work together to help people, and the fact that it's focused on improving the lives of its community. To us, that is the prime example of what community economic development is, to the T, on the nose. Okay, so what is its purpose? To specifically address income disparity, to address the gap of home values of the core neighborhoods compared to Saskatoon overall, the lack of education of some of its residents, the unemployment rate of its citizens, health problems, and food security issues. Ultimately, Station 20 exists because there are problems within that area. There are people committed to improving those things for its community members. It's interesting to note that Station 20 doesn't label its businesses as tenants, instead as co-locators. This branding distinction is done based on the spirit of community and collaboration of residents' businesses who share similar interests, and that's ultimately improving the lives of the community members it serves. Okay, take a look at that picture. That is a depressing sight. And if you've ever been in some of the core neighborhoods of Edmonton, this is not dissimilar to some of the stuff we've seen in this city. That's what Riversdale looked like in the early 2000s. A lot of urban blight. I think it's important to understand what this neighborhood looked like without Station 20. That's what it looked like. That's what the neighborhoods looked like. Most of the community lived below the poverty line. Crime was growing, and there was no grocery store within its communities. Riversdale is one of the older neighborhoods in Saskatoon. It's located on the western boundaries of the downtown core. Back in the 2001, it was known for bars on the windows, vacant lots, guard dogs, and pawn shops. The organizations of CHEP and Quint decided to work together to change that. So the vision of Station West is that it's not just a building. It's not just a physical space. It's a place for people to come together to help its community members. And this is an area which is acknowledged to be part of Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. It's important to note that they honor Indigenous relationships and the history and the truth-telling, and basically the history of that area and the people that have been living in that area for the past couple hundred years. Intention is to foster healing and reconciliation between its community members. It's built on planned and organic collaboration for systemic change. What are the things in the society that's causing the issues for these people in these neighborhoods? And it gives an opportunity to reflect on land, the identity of people in these areas, and the shared histories that they have together. Planning spanned over 6 years when Quint Development and CHEP got together, decided to do something about the area of the problems in the neighborhood. This is not a 3-month or 6-month project. We're talking 6 years. And it certainly was not all easy sailing, for sure. There was business planning that was required. There was a significant amount of work securing financing. They had to find a site. And they had to find the right tenants, which they then became labeled as co-locators that they wanted there. They didn't want just like Starbucks or 7-Eleven or things like this. They wanted people that had a shared vision of helping the community members. What stands out to me was that this is not a quick and simple setup. The people worked together for years to get this off the ground. This effort demonstrates resilience and a serious commitment to the project, who believed in what they were doing for the community. To put a visual perspective on what it was like for the founders, we would like to show a short video of the corporation founders firsthand.
We went to talk to the city and said, we got this vision for this project for a food store, and we think this would be a good spot because it's very central to the core neighborhoods of Saskatoon.
We've been here in this building, Station 20 West, for 1.5 years now, and what a difference that has made to our operations. We're located here in this building with 6 other groups, and we all share similar philosophies.
The biggest reason why I choose to work in this area is because of the large concentration of the Aboriginal population. I'm very passionate about serving my people, and one of my traditional roles is a helper role.
We have a part-time student advisor here, should anybody in the neighborhood be more comfortable coming here to talk with somebody about going to university. We also, on an ongoing basis, meet with community organizations who are interested in partnering with the university around a particular research need they may have. And we also spend a lot of time connecting with faculty on campus who either have an interest in community engaged work or are already doing it.
In the Good Food Junction, we all learn to do everybody's job. So we're all trained in the same area as management, supervisor, cashier. and we all put in the same hard work. It's all equal.
Being co-located at Station 20 has had many advantages. For our families, although we do, for the most part, provide outreach services and go to our families' homes, families have told us repeatedly that they love coming here. They feel it's a very safe, welcoming place to come.
We want to acknowledge the strength that women have and the capabilities and the skills that they have that they can offer to better society.
For this building, Affinity enabled us to finish the kitchen. So we had done here at CHEP a capital campaign for the kitchen equipment, but it was fairly expensive. Affinity stepped forward and gave us a long-term loan so that we could put in what we needed at the beginning instead of staging it over many years. That was a good idea. That kitchen is used so often and for so many great things.
And you know, they took a risk on doing finances, but that's part of their mandate is to reinvest back into their communities. And they stood by Station 20 West through good times and through bad times. They're a key player in Saskatoon's community economic development sector.
So it's a building where you can sort of feel the respect and the excitement, and you meet community people here every day. And there's quite a lot of fun here as well.
Thank you. So this is a timeline of the plan to starting construction to when it was actually completed. And I'll just point out a couple things here. And it doesn't even necessarily show the whole length of this. The idea came up around 2001. They didn't complete the initial business plan to 2006. They were able to get some initial funding in 2007 for $8 million. The provincial government changed and they withdrew the funding from this project. There was a lot of criticism for the provincial government withdrawing that funding. And it was eventually brought back to a certain degree, but nowhere near the initial scale of that part of it. So there was, another 2 or 3 years of raising some other funds in order to get this off the ground. So it wasn't until 2011, 10 years after that original plan, before construction began. And, almost 12 years after the initial plan before it actually opened. So definitely not an easy road. But you can tell by all the interviews you see and the people that are there that this is something that they very much believe in and that they're committed to the work. So I applaud them for it. Thank you.
I'll take us into the next section here, and just to start off by identifying the core neighborhoods of Station 20 West. There are 5 of them. And as you can see, it's Caswell Hill, King George, Pleasant Hill, Riversdale, which is where it's located, and Westmount. Then you go into who the co-locators are. So Station 20 West exists because there are high concerns within the 5 identified core neighborhoods. There are many advocates and partners that are committed to improving the environments for these communities. And as you can see, there are establishment partners, but they're not known as tenants, like my friend here said, but they're known as the co-locators. So this branding distinction is done based on the spirit of the community and collaboration of its residents who share similar interests to ultimately improving the lives of the community's members it serves. And so there's, I'll go into detail on each of them. The Boxcar Cafe, Quint Development Corporation, Chef Good Food, Neighborhood Health Center, Kids First, Red Eagle Lodge Advancement, and the University of Saskatchewan. I kind of picked this portion to go over with you guys because I can relate to actually benefiting from some of these services, and I'll kind of go into detail as I go on. So starting with the Boxcar Cafe social enterprise of Station 20 West, offering healthy, affordable, and freshly made food. So they offer employment opportunities as well at entry level in the form of training in customer service, hospitality, and basic culinary school skills. They also offer catering for events and event space. None of this is to make a profit. It's just to keep the organization running and make improvements when they're able to. Uh, yeah, so we'll go on to the next one. So Quint Development uh, Corporation. So as one of the co-founders of Station 20 West, Quint Development Corporation provides assistance community members by doing things like providing housing for people who need assistance, affordable, supportive, uh, for at-risk mothers and children, as well as transitional housing. So it provides job search assistance by doing things like helping people learn to build resumes, giving them access to computers, to help look for jobs for employment, and ultimately works to build up its community members that need some help. And then we'll go into Shep Good Food Inc. Is also one of the other original founders of Station 20 West. It offers a variety of programs for schools, families, and individuals in Saskatoon. Some of the programs it offers are like the Innovation School program, which aims to ensure children get fresh, nutritious foods through a brown bag lunch program. Um, this is one I relate to. It is in Saskatchewan, but Regina specifically, but they also had a program similar to this where they did a Chili for Children program. So they ensured, like as I was in elementary school, we had these programs and access to this because I did live in some core neighborhoods in Regina as well. So it's kind of cool to see it go throughout other cities and assisting other kiddos as well while they're in school. And then they also provide a bulk buying program, which provides cheaper fruits and vegetables to local schools through subsidization, um, and providing programs for children to learn about cooking. Again, another thing that I did benefit from as a child with the Good Food Box. Something similar, just a different name and organization. So. And then as we go into our neighborhood health clinic, Saskatchewan Health Authority organization, an Indigenous Health Center. So there's two health co-locators at Station 20 West. One is the health clinic and then the health research center. Um, the health center exists to reduce health disparities in the inner city of Saskatoon by working in partnerships, engaging in the community, and integrating population health promotion strategies. Um, this is a shared community facility that provides health services such as immunizations, children's health, and oral health. It aims to specifically address the health concerns of local Métis and First Nations community members. And then the Health Research Center is mandated to work specifically on Indigenous health concerns. Again, I didn't know these specifics back then, but it's kind of nice to get an insight on them because, again, I did benefit from these. And as a young mom myself, I had access to this. They assisted with prenatal classes and immunizations. So they did wellness checks. They went above and beyond, and I was very fortunate to have these offerings. And like as these residents of these core neighborhoods, often some of the problems specific to their residents, like in this community specifically in Saskatoon, nearly 45% of the core neighborhoods served by Station 20 West identified as Métis and Indigenous. And then almost 40% of the families are run by single parents. And between 2000 and 2009, the residents reported infant mortality rate was 1.5 times higher than the middle class neighborhoods. So the local health centers realized it needed to tailor its services to best meet the residents in the community. And tying in with the services to that is Kids First. Um, Again, this one is Saskatchewan wide. Poverty is generally considered to be generational. Kids First is an important initiative to help parents and their children break the cycle. Kids First is a program that is offered throughout Saskatchewan. It is a home visiting program for families with children ages 3 and younger. And they offer a variety of services such as family support, mental health, addiction support, early learning opportunities, and more. I can speak directly to Kids First by some of the supports they offered. A lot of, again, like I said, the prenatal courses preparing me, but they even offered they partnered up with a local convenience store where they made sure I had the vitamins and the calcium that was necessary, and like they provided me with 7 liters of milk a week. Again, very, very beneficial. And within all of these supports that were offered in this building, um, it it just well-rounded. Even my understanding as I was as a teen mom, like that's not something planned, but happens. And yeah, I really benefited from all of these. And going into our last one here, the Red Eagle Lodge advancement. So it was a frontline program and services for First Nations women, the keepers of the home fire, and devoted their resources to strategic goals, including the advancement of women's rights and sovereignty. So creating awareness and understanding of the socioeconomic issues facing First Nations women, girls, and families, including murdered and missing women and girls, violence against women and girls, sexual exploitation, mental health, trauma, self-care, community and family wellness, addictions, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and other priorities identified by the Saskatchewan First Nations Women Commission. They advocate for substantive equality to address gender-based violence, historical disadvantages, intergenerational trauma and discrimination, and ensuring that all programs provide a holistic, accessible, and culturally appropriate services for women and gender diverse peoples. Again, truly great resources. As a woman who has both murdered and missing family members, having access to these supports not only helped me, but helped my family through some crucial moments in our lives, and has truly had a huge impact. I believe that any community can become successful with the core establishments like Station 20 West. And I will let my friend Taylor take us into the next section.
Thanks, Shelley. Okay, so social enterprises thrive when they're embedded in ecosystems that support not just business growth, but community well-being. Station 20 West demonstrates this model by integrating entrepreneurship with social impact, rooted in local partnerships and place-based development. So they start by like demonstrating impact. So partnerships with University of Saskatchewan is a good example of that for health equity, food security, research, and community resilience. They build an engaged community. Red Eagle Lodge, women's leadership and community organizing is kind of what that's involved there. There's community event spaces, multiple stakeholder co-location partnerships. There's even a public library branch, which, just builds that community engagement. Increasing business acumen. So Quint Development is really great. They have training, employment opportunities, social enterprise incubation, and they support emerging entrepreneurs from the core neighborhoods that they have. Then leads into enhanced market opportunities. So Good Food Junction Co-op is good for this. They have a full service grocery store. CHEP has community markets that they're available. And the Boxcar Cafe has like catering and cafe services for promoting like food culture within the community. Providing access to capital, obviously, like important part. So affordable housing development is there. Social enterprises housed in Station 20 West can access quilt supports to help them navigate through finance options. Okay, jumping into the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So the entrepreneurial ecosystem refers to the interconnected domains like policy, finance, culture, human capital, markets, and support systems that influence the success and sustainability of entrepreneurship in a region. These domains don't function in isolation. Instead, they interact in complex ways to either enable or inhibit community-led innovation. Station 20 West is a prime example of how a place-based social enterprise can thrive within a supportive ecosystem. By aligning with public policy goals, leveraging alternative finance, fostering a culture of empowerment, and engaging local talent, Station 20 West demonstrates how entrepreneurship can drive inclusive economic development, not just through business creation, but by building systems of care and resilience rooted in the community. So for policy, a great example of this is Station 20 West aligns with the municipal goals to address health, food, and housing equity. For finance, they are supported by public capital grants through CHEP, Red Eagle Lodge, and Quint. On the culture front, they have the public living room for women, where women can gather and share that space together. With supports, we have Quint Development that provides technical assistance, training, social enterprise mentoring. On the human capital front, we have employment training and placement through Quint as well, and also youth engagement and volunteerism opportunities. And then in the market front, we have on-site market for CHEP, we have local catering, and they have the cafe that's run by the community as well too. We wanted to outline the SHIN framework and how it applied to Station 20 West as well. So Chagwon Shin proposes a conceptual framework that explains the evolving relationship between the state, market, and communities in the provision of social welfare. His model focuses on how the social economy can serve as a response to declines of traditional welfare states and rising neoliberalism. So the first is the emancipatory perspective. It views the social economy as a transformative force that challenges capitalistic systems. The second is the complementary perspective. So it treats the social economy as a partner to the state and market. It fills in service gaps without aiming to replace the existing systems. And its social enterprises here are pragmatic, supporting employment, services, and local development. And then there's the pessimistic perspective. So it critiques the social economy as being co-opted by neoliberalism, claims it's used to offload state responsibilities without adequate support, and the social economy organizations risk becoming low-cost services contractors rather than change artists. So we felt that for the SHIN framework, Station 20 West kind of fell in the middle of emancipatory and complementary perspective. And here's how we feel this way. For the emancipatory perspective, they build solidarity and reciprocity by embedding services in community-led delivery. They support endogenous development, so they're run by and for the local population, not external actors. They offer services like baby wellness, food security, and indigenous community programming, and they represent a decentralized alternative to top-down welfare models, which aligns with Gore's vision of a post-wage society. For the complementary perspective, they collaborate with the Saskatchewan Health Authority and other public agencies. They bridge formal healthcare with community-based supports like family wellness. They have a co-locator model, which helps pool resources and build networks rather than duplicate efforts. And they strengthen both the public system and community responses. So Station 20 West exemplifies the emancipatory model by enabling local ownership and democratic control, while it also complements gaps in public services while fostering grassroots autonomy. So in conclusion, Station 20 West proves that community ingenuity, when supported, can fill cracks left by traditional systems. It represents a shift in how we think and how social welfare, not charity, but collective resilience. It inspires a reimagining of how health, food, and social equity can be delivered, and not just to the community, but with the community. While the concept of Station 20 West is compelling, it is difficult to fully assess the scope of its impact or long-term sustainability due to the limited publicly available data. So further transparency around financial performance and measurable outcomes would help strengthen and understand its broader reach and effectiveness. Thank you for your time.